Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm calling this regular school board meeting of Independent School District 544 to order. And our first item of business will be for the clerk to establish the quorum.
All right, Kirby Anderson.
Here.
Kelly Graff.
Here.
Jenny Christensen.
Present.
Missy Hermes, present. Melanie Cole.
Present.
Stephen Bigasa.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. I will seek a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A second.
I'll second.
Any discussion on the agenda? Hearing nothing, all in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. The agenda is approved and we'll move down to our reports. And we have our principals from the various buildings reporting tonight. And we'll start with Lincoln Elementary Principal John Steinbrenner. Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for having me here. So since the beginning of the school year, we've had 3 first days. We had our first day with our first graders, and then the next day we had first day with kindergarten, and then the next week we had our first day without our preschool, and each of those felt like a first day. So that was a whole lot of fun. It was just a matter of helping folks get to where they needed to be. On the preschool side of things, we have really nice enrollment in our pre-K offerings this year. Our half-day 3-year-old programming is really close to capacity. Our every other day 4-year-old programming too at capacity. And then we have 3 sections this year, 3 classrooms where it's 4 days per week, and that's the full day. And within that section within that offering, we have room for 60 students. And right now we're sitting at 58 just because we've had some last minute adjustments. So our preschool enrollment is just really strong, and some high quality programming taking place there. One of the adjustments that we made this year with Otter Preschool is we aligned our end of the day. So last year we were running like an 8:30 to 3:30 day, and so now we've looked to align that with our kindergarten and first grade beginning and end to the day, and that's come with some benefits and some compromises. The benefit is to folks coming to pick up their children. They're arriving and leaving at the same time, and what we learned though is that everyone gets there at the same time, and so that's a bit of a space management issue, but everyone's been really accommodating, and it's from my perspective it's not a problem that we have to work through. It's just a matter of folks learning what schedule works best for them. So I think it's been a good match. We did some late summer staffing adjustments just within our preschool. We did add one teacher, replace one teacher, and then we had some classroom assistants that joined us. But gosh, we're really fortunate to have just high quality people in the community that are hoping to work in our schools and have been great fits so far. So just really happy with how things are looking as far as the folks that we have serving our students and our families. On the kindergarten first grade side of things, remember just that we have 3 sections of first grade this year at Lincoln School, and that's just been a tremendous addition. They're kind of our in-house experts, and I've been reliant a couple times on that, just asking folks for help from those first graders as far as getting some of our kindergartners pointed in the right direction and having them be role models. So that's been a really nice thing to have those first graders there. One class in particular that is unique, Ms. Colhase this year is looping with the majority of her students from last year, and so golly, those students have just had a running start to the school year. They know where everything is, they know what the expectations are, and they're just flourishing in that setting with that looping model. So it's been interesting to see and a welcome change. At the kindergarten level, we have 7 sections this year, some really nice class sizes, and an appropriate enrollment for those 7 sections. The classrooms are certainly full. They feel full. They're not under the number where they should be. So I think the teachers are appreciative of the class sizes as they are, and that 7 sections ended up being the right fit for us to move into the school year knowing that we were going to be at 7 sections. Over the past few weeks here at the beginning of the year, establishing some routines, but then simultaneously working to identify some students through our baseline assessments, just to recognize which students might need a little bit of a boost here at the beginning of the year for some Tier 2 interventions. And so we've really worked hard to identify those students, and then our interventionists have begun serving those students both in the area of reading and in math. And then for our population of English language learners, they too have been receiving some specialized instruction. So as far as getting things up and moving with students who are just newly familiar to us, I think all the teachers have been really responsive and have kind of set our processes into action. So really pleased with that. From a community standpoint, our book fair was tonight, and that was really well attended. That was right after school, and so it was just a wave of families coming in at 3 o'clock there to the STEM area to access our book fair. Got that going right away, and that was just another fun event. There was popcorn and face painting and some games and some early shopping, so that's great. I wanted to speak a bit to our attendance goal that we have in place as a school district, and this is really early preliminary data, but as we look at the first 14 days of the school year, we're celebrating 125 students in K1 who have had perfect attendance. So overall, within our building, things are looking pretty good. We have 69% of our students who are above that 95% threshold that we've set for ourselves, which of course the opposite of that being 31% of students who are below that 95%, but again with 14 days within the school year, one missed day or 2 days of illness recovering at home can really impact that. But it's important for us to talk about our level of importance that we're placing on attendance, and I think that as we move through the school year, just continued updates on that, just to let you folks know how engaged our students and families are with the school day. That's what I have for you today. Is there anything that you'd like to learn more about that I've addressed so far? Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Steinbrenner. Next, we'll hear from Scott Colbeck, elementary principal at Adams and McKinley. Good evening.
Good evening. So I'd like to first start with some recognitions and acknowledgments. I want to thank our staff, our students, our parents for an excellent start to the school year. 80% of our students at McKinley and 70% of our students at Adams are returning to those buildings, and we haven't had that, I guess I'll call it a luxury. We haven't had that luxury for about 20 years at those elementary schools. And you can really tell a difference in just the before and after school drop-off, pickup procedures. It's been quite smooth. We welcomed 2 sections of first graders to McKinley and 3 sections of first graders to Adams. We've had 10 students at Adams and 10 students at McKinley over the last 2 Fridays, so 20 students total at both schools, recognized for being what we call all-star students. 1 student from each class every Friday has his or her name called over the intercom. The all-star students receive a certificate and have their photo taken and displayed in the hallway. I think you're aware of this, but congratulations to Jen Colhorst, our school nurse, who spends each Thursday at Adams and every Friday at McKinley. And Jen was recently named the Minnesota School Nurse of the Year. I'd like to give a little shout out to our local law enforcement for their strong presence in and around our schools during the first couple weeks of the school year. We just appreciate them very much. I want you to know our McKinley gym was taken offline today and will be inaccessible for the next couple of weeks as some cleaning is going on in there in the ceiling area. Thank you to Phy Ed teacher Jamie Lill for being so creative in how PE will be delivered, and to our lunch staff for accommodating all students in what I call our cozy cafeteria, and for our before and after school supervisors for executing different procedures without the gymnasium. Lastly, I'd like to thank our parents for saying goodbye to their student, either at their vehicle or at the entrance to the building, and allowing their child to enter the school independently. And I mean that seriously. It's something that we work on, and all of our parents are really doing a great job with that. As Mr. Steinbrenner talked about, our daily attendance. Attendance is a goal. Our goal for every student is that they attend school 95% of the time or better. You can reach this goal by missing no more than 8.5 days of school over the course of the school year. Attendance at the younger grades is the responsibility of the parents, and we rely on our parents to get their children to school. Of our 221 students at Adams, 126 of them have had perfect attendance thus far, so 57% of the student body at Adams. If we look at those kids who have missed 1 day or less, that is 86% of our student body. Similarly, at McKinley, 223 students, 2 more than Adams, 125 perfect attendance, 1 less student, 56% have perfect attendance, 86% of our students have missed 1 day or less. Once we get to 20 days of school, then we'll be able to look at how many have come 19 days, and then we'll have a really good idea of how we're doing with that 95% goal. I want to move into some school highlights and accomplishments here and talk about those a little bit. Last week, we had what we call a data review day. Our classroom teachers met with our interventionists last week to review the results of fall screenings, and students have been identified for math and reading intervention, and those groups have now started as of late last week. Students were excited that JAWS started today. Thank you to our parents and grandparent volunteers for making this recess program possible. New to our cafeterias this year, students are enjoying a self-serve fruits and vegetables bar at lunch this year. You mean we can go back for seconds, Mr. Colbeck? Yes. Have at it. So they're feeling older, adult-like. Class size, first grade. We average anywhere, our range is between 19 and 21 across our first grade classrooms. Second grade, the range is 22 to 23. And third grade, the range is 23 to 24. So we're feeling pretty good about that. Students coming and going. I want to talk about adds and drops as the school year has started. In first grade, we have had 9 adds and 4 drops for a net gain of 5 students. Second grade, we've had 9 adds and 3 drops for a net gain of 6 students. And in third grade, 7 adds, 5 drops, net gain of 2. So overall, in grades 1, 2, and 3, we've had a net gain of 13 students this year. Staff at McKinley School are enjoying a new staff lounge, having 10 sections instead of 11 or 12 has afforded us the ability to use our space differently at McKinley School this year. I encourage you to visit the staff lounge if you get over to McKinley. Students at McKinley and Adams are enjoying more music this year. Music classes are now held 4 out of 5 days versus 3 out of 4. And this equates to roughly 8 or 9 more music classes over the course of the school year. We have some new and colorful 4-square courts on our playgrounds, thanks to Rick Goots. The landscaping near the front of the McKinley School has been a pleasing update to the main entrance, and the grassy area of the McKinley Lower Playground was reseeded earlier this summer and is looking thicker and healthier at the start of year 2. This is where Mud Pie Park once was. And lastly, I want to let you know about some upcoming events. School Resource Officer Kitzman will be giving our new Chief of Police tours of our schools next week. Fall map testing begins tomorrow. Picture Day at McKinley is Wednesday of this week. Picture Day at Adams is next week on Tuesday. Ricky White will be visiting our students on October 13th for Indigenous Peoples Day. There is a Girl Scouts event on October 15th at Adams School from 5:30 to 7 in the evening. Third grade students had a visitor from the Prairie Wetlands today, prepping them for their upcoming monthly visits to the Prairie, which start later this week. And lastly, parent-teacher conferences begin on October 20th, and letters will go home with students on Friday of this week. So that's my report. I could entertain any questions from the board.
Any questions for Principal Colbeck? Thank you for the report. And next we'll hear from Tindy Rund, elementary principal at Cleveland. Good evening, Tindy.
I'd like to just begin noting that at Cleveland, we welcomed a whole new grade level, what feels like for the first time in 3 years, because last year's fifth graders were at Cleveland, some of them as second graders, and then third grade, fourth grade, and fifth grade. And now that we shifted third grade, shifted a grade level back, this is the first year in a couple of years where we have really welcomed a whole new grade level of students that we're all working hard to get to know and help them feel comfortable in their new school. So it feels a bit different at Cleveland, and they're finding their way around and figuring it all out. Currently in fourth grade we have 167 students, and in fifth grade we have 155 students for a total of 322. So not only did we welcome a new grade level, we welcomed 15 fourth grade students who moved from other places to Fergus Falls, and also 9 fifth grade students to the building. So new students to get used to, and new families to welcome as well. I also want to touch on attendance. At Cleveland, we take attendance twice daily, in the morning, just to account for who's there and who's not. But also the other important thing about morning attendance is we take our lunch count. So we just aren't going to miss that at all. And then also, as you know, a robocall is made to families whose student might be absent and we haven't heard from those families. And that's just a really good safety feature that we have built in to make sure that every child is accounted for. In the afternoon, all the teachers take attendance right after their students return from the lunchroom. It's really essential for those prairie science class sections, the 8 sections, because that's the first time that they will have seen their afternoon teacher immediately following lunch. So good to account for the students, and it also is just a good exercise for those teachers to really make note of who is present and who's absent on any given day. And of these first 14 days of the school year, 195 of the 322 students have 100% attendance. So that's excellent. 248 of the students have 95% or better attendance, which is 77% of the students. 74 students are below our district goal of 95% of attendance, and that's 23% of that student population. So when we take a look at what are some of the reasons for the students being absent during these first few days, family vacation has impacted some attendance. There are some medical things going on right now, just routine appointments, dental appointments, orthodontist appointments, doctor's appointments, things like that. Some of our new families to the district, we've had communication with them and helping them make connections in the community. Their child needs a new doctor, has a new diagnosis, and seeking out who are some of those familiar connections. And we're grateful for families to be doing that and getting their child what they need here to get a good start at the beginning of the school year. Some students have regular therapy appointments, counseling appointments, and the like. So some of these things are routine, and many families are doing their diligence to schedule those appointments either first thing in the morning, before school, or after school as well. We also have some students just dealing with some long-term illnesses that are just really challenging. A new diagnosis where at this point in time, that child's health is of the utmost importance, so we're working to learn about those illnesses and do our best to support them so that they don't have gaps in their learning, and we're just working diligently to ensure that they have access to education when they're able to do that. Another child has an anticipated ongoing, a situation where there's going to be anticipated ongoing absences. And so we are working with family to navigate that. So it's a variety of reasons for children to be absent at this point in time. But all along, our teachers encourage attendance. We talk to these kids and we say, we missed you yesterday. We notice when you're not here. We notice when you are in school, and just really, really encouraging that ongoing connection with the parents to please email or call. We want to know what's going on and how we can support your child at school. Each September, we across the district spend time talking about safety and safety aspects, and the sun is going to just get me right there. It's at the top. It's the very top. So each September, we have several safety things that we go through with students. We always go through bus safety, and we rely on our Phi Ed teachers to carry that bus safety out, as well as pedestrian and bike safety. Mr. Colbeck mentioned the McKinley gym is going to be going offline. The Cleveland gym has been offline, and thank you. We anticipate that we'll be back online here very, very soon, but our Phi Ed teachers, Mr. Olson and Mr. Steer, have done a great job of planning different lessons. And one thing that they've done on the rainy days, especially when we haven't been able to have Phi Ed outside, is they've taken care of these safety trainings with all of the classes at Cleveland. We've done some safety drills, so students know where we go if we have a fire in the building, how we line up, and just the procedures for going out and coming and returning to the building as well. The fire safety poster contest is always a hit with students. They put a lot of effort into designing the fire safety posters that promote the theme of the year, which I forgot to write down. All right. Okay. So the fire safety poster is just one more thing that really promotes fire safety at school, in our homes, in our community. So they do a great job of that. This week at Cleveland, the universal screening is taking place. And that takes place 3 times a year, fall, mid-year, and in the spring. And what we did, based on last spring's, the data from last spring, we used that data to identify students who need a challenge at the start of this school year before we have the new fresh data. And so universal screening intervention in reading and math began the 2nd week of school. And at that time, we were serving 32 students with RTI math and 34 students in RTI reading. And so based on the data that we're gathering this week, we'll have a data retreat and go through and evaluate that. And if we need to capture some of our new students for the district, we will include them as well.
Excuse me, Tindy. Yeah, your mic shut off again. So push.
Yep.
And then
It's green.
Green is a go.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then PLC meetings. This year, our PLC meeting time is dedicated to the science of reading training. So teachers in 4th and 5th grade and some specialists will be doing the OLA, the OL and LA training during PLC meeting time. 4th grade orchestra roundup is taking place right now at Cleveland. So there was a lot of excitement around that. And then our 5th grade orchestra lessons began last week, and in 5th grade we have over 100 participants. I don't have that exact number, but over 100, so that's exciting as well. And then lastly, some upcoming events we have this Wednesday. 5th graders will have the vision and hearing screening done at school. On Thursday, 4th graders will have their first early morning orchestra rehearsal in the gym, and also their school pictures that day. And then the very first, October 7th and 8th, the Science Museum of Minnesota will be in district here. We'll meet right in this space and have a Science Museum assembly, and then each class will have a hands-on activity following that. So,
Sorry for the disruption.
Okay.
We are working
That's
with
okay.
new microphones, and
That's all
some
right.
stay on and some don't.
okay.
Thank you.
Well, with that concludes my report. How about that?
It wasn't a
Sound
sign.
good?
It was not a sign.
Okay.
Any questions for Principal Run?
All right, thank you.
Thank you for the report. Yeah. And now we'll hear from Middle School Principal Hurst, Ivan Hurst.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, everybody. We've really enjoyed a really great start at the middle school this year. We are about plus 24 students we're net 24 to our student body this year, so that was a pleasant surprise. All in all, I think it's 38 new kids that we get to learn about, plus the whole new grade level that Tindy talked about. So we've really, I want to talk about bar first, because that was the bar training that we had 2 days in this room. And 2 full days in this room. Teachers that I spoke with thought it was an excellent, engaging training. Certainly it launched us into a great start of the school year. They really did a lot of team building things that was training for team building with our students. And so that was the model that they used. But at the training, we learned about, we practiced presenting the character ed lessons, the team building lessons. We practiced giving those to ourselves so that they could do it with their students. We brainstormed ways to make our school a stronger, more effective place for learning. So we had an exercise where we did that for about 90 minutes. We learned how to have effective team meetings. We've been having team meetings at the middle school for a long time, for a number of years. But they gave us some criteria to make those meetings more effective, focusing on efficiency, solution focused, and starting the conversation about each student with positives. So we focus on the positives because we all have them, and at the time we as a society, as humans, I think we focus on the thing that's wrong, and then that becomes our focus. Well, we should, what's right, and focus on strengths and then connection to school. So I think that's really going to help our team meetings. They call them block meetings, but I think that'll really help our team meetings be more effective and for our students. And then lastly, we became far more closer as a staff. 15 hours or thereabouts where we were in this room. And you get kind of nervous as a principal because we're giving up 2 full days of in-service. That was a lot of time. And our staff, they were really great. And so I think we're closer as a staff now too. We all have a focus of improving student experience in the middle school. I'm really excited about that. So, and I can go, maybe a working meeting is where you want to hear more about this, but I could kind of go on forever and ever. But the last couple things I want to tell you about BAR is this. We're supported by BAR in a number of ways. Remember, we got the funding through the Otter Tail Family Collaborative. We're supported by BAR. We have a coach whenever we need. She kind of said whenever we need. So I don't know if I'll try that, but we have her cell phone number, and she's in the cities. Our coach is in the cities. Really great, really nice, really great gal. We have weekly meetings with our BAR coach. So we have 1-hour meetings on Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. where we can ask our questions, and then she's spoon feeding us along about what's the next thing you need to be thinking about. And in those meetings, Ivan, Matt, Alana, and Tracy, so kind of our office staff are in those meetings so we can all be on the same page. If you recall, Tracy Grabowska is our BAR coordinator for the district. We have her at, I believe, 0.25 FTE this year. But we're all taking it on because we want it to go well, and we think it will. And then other support we have by the BAR program is we have 4 site visits by our coach. So she was already on site the 10th day of school last Monday and got to meet people, faces to names, got to attend meetings, also attended block meetings and the I-time lessons that our teachers deliver this year. So we moved away from second step, that's gone, and now we're doing the I-time lessons, that's what they call them, in the BAR program. So she shared lots of compliments because we really had a lot of the structure in place, but I think we could sharpen up all the edges and corners and make it really more effective. So really, as we started this school year, really engaging and just really a positive event to start this school year. I'm also going to touch on a district attendance. For the BAR program, we needed to set goals. So we have goals in 3 areas, and that includes student attendance, number of dispositions, number of discipline referrals, not the referrals per se, but how many dispositions, how many consequences we gave to students in our judgment, because we can track that. And also failing grades. So our middle school is focused on those. Sounds like school, doesn't it? Right, Missy? Sounds like school. So we're tracking failing grades as well. So, and we split all those into categories. So if I start with attendance, we are doing that monthly. For you guys, we're gonna do it quarterly. for them, we're gonna do it monthly. Anyway, we'll get there. For grades, we did core classes and elective classes. Because, you know, we care about core classes for Saturday school, summer school, but all classes matter, otherwise we wouldn't have them take them. So we recorded all that data, and we have goals around that. And lastly, dispositions, you know, really 10% less would be a great place to start because it's really hard to track. So we went back with attendance and with grades and with dispositions, and we did 2 years of data, collected all that, and synergized into a number. We all know that the number is a good number is a number, but the action plan is really what matters. So that's what we're focused on. So all that was to talk about attendance. At 95% attendance in our middle school, when I take every grade, and the last 2 years, last 8 quarters for all 3 grades, 55% of our students are at 95% attendance. Yeah. If we go to 90% though, it increases quite a bit. It almost goes to about 85%. So we have a lot of students that are, we have about 55% that are missing 9 or less days. Mr. Kolbeck said 8.5, which is very accurate. But the number between 17 or less, 8.5 to 17 is really the target group that gets us. And that would be missing 17 days. So we're at 55%. Here's the action steps we've taken at this point.
Excuse me, Ivan, could you push the button here? Is it green again?
No.
You have to hold it in.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize.
Okay, no, you're totally fine. I'm saying a lot of really good stuff here, so
Yes,
if they
you
can't
are.
hear me, this is kind of a miss.
Yeah, we want.
So we had our back to school night with parents. Attendance is one of the top things that we talk about, school safety and attendance. We need kids here. That's how the world runs. We talked about attendance at our class meetings with students, and we talked about the snowball and missing more than one day. Homework gets to be too much and you get overwhelmed and it's easier to miss another day. We reminded the teachers of the importance of taking attendance and having accurate records so we know the right kids to address. We did a back to school newsletter to parents, and we addressed attendance again in that spot. Over the last couple of years, we've obviously collaborated with Otter Tail County in the school engagement program, attending SEP and camp meetings. We worked with Lynn Johnson and supported her work to address attendance issues with our most at-risk students. I asked Lynn to do for the middle school. I want to know the students that were under 90% last year, so that we have that list this year, so we don't have to wait to figure it out. You know, kind of a heads up, if you will. So we have those lists of kids, so we're monitoring them. Oh, maybe a little closer. Put your energy where it's needed most, right? Other attendance things that we've done recently. We have a vacation form at our step treatment. You don't have to apologize.
Button.
We use a vacation form at our district for kids that miss 3 days or more. That doesn't solve our problem, but it tells parents that we're taking attendance seriously. It's important, and we know all the reasons why. And we also use a tardy system in the middle school, so kids that get too many tardies in their classes have a consequence. You need to get to school, you need to get to class on time. Disrupts learning. We only have 45-minute class periods. We need you to be there on time. So I didn't have the specific data for 14 days because my mind said the sample size was too small to report on. But that's what we're doing for attendance currently. So next steps, we need to continue to work. We need to continue to have brainstorm ideas to make attendance coming to school one of the more important things that we do. Now, some really smart people would say, we've been doing this like ever since school started. This is a hard topic and no one's solved it. So what can we do in our community? There's a lot of smart people here. I think we'll have some things that we'll try, but we probably won't find one solution. Yeah. Any, I'm kind of in the middle, but any questions on attendance there? Okay. I'm not used to the format, so we kind of changed it up a little bit. Parent-teacher communication, that was also talked about. Conferences are the middle of next month. Class meetings, this is something that I wanted to highlight. We have class meetings at the middle school every month. I think I've shared that with you a few different times. In October for the last few years, and in next Wednesday is our class meeting. We'll talk about harassment and what that means to middle schoolers. They need to know that. As we've worked on treating each other with respect, others are. The word bullying gets used a lot, and we don't prefer to use that word. We prefer, yeah, I got you.
Button.
Another look.
Okay.
We don't prefer, that one looks green. We don't prefer the word bullying because we think it gets misused a lot, but it is a common word that's used. So we'll talk about harassment and treating others with respect as a focus of that class meeting. And then we get to say, we told you so, guys. Remember that class meeting we had? So I probably talked a little too long there, but I'll take any questions about BAR or anything else that I talked about.
Can you remind everyone what BAR stands for?
Thanks. Yeah, Missy, that's a good one. Building Assets, Reducing Risks. Now, this is a program that manifested, that started down in the Twin Cities area and now is in many states across the nation. Last April, myself, Tracy Grabowska, and Janelle Holt, our 8th grade science teacher, went to the national conference. And yeah, so I'm really thankful. That was a great question. I should have probably.
Okay.
Yeah, other things.
Is it easy enough for you to convey the difference between harassment and bullying as you're going to define it for the students? Because I'm thinking that people might wonder where the line is in terms of how you see it, or
we'll attempt to do that. Remember, bullying is an imbalance of power over a period of time. Most of the things that we encounter, I don't want to speak, I'll say it, most of the things we encounter at the middle school is not bullying. It's someone being mean to somebody in a split second. It's not ongoing imbalance of power. It's so often, I don't like your hair, or online something maybe that's brief because you said something mean about my friend. So, I don't know, maybe bullying's a 5-letter word instead of a 4-letter word, but so we really call that, incidences of poor judgment. Yeah.
Yeah, that helps clarify it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
The ongoing pattern.
Yeah, we really are sort of tired of that particular word, because we don't see imbalance of power very often. Not truly. Someone was mean to somebody. That happens. Happens with adults too.
Right.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments for Mr. Hurst?
Ivan, do we still have after-school detention?
Yep.
Okay,
Yes, we
so
do.
Do we still have the 3:30 rule and then it's an hour detention?
Yeah, 45 minutes. Yeah. So we do that per class per quarter.
Okay.
So, and we did that mostly religiously last year, and I think we had good results with that. So the 4 ways that we discipline students, 5, conference, lunch detention, and we can do that if we get permission from the parents. After school detention, in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension. Those are really our choice. Oh, and guilt. We can use try guilt too. Sometimes that works. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you for the report,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hurst. And next we'll have Mark Anderson, high school IQ and ALC principal.
All right.
Good evening.
I'm going to try to look at you guys instead of the green dot right here.
Well, if you see me waving
I'll push the
furiously.
button.
Okay.
All right, I'll start with the ALC. Carrie would like to thank the ALC staff for being prepared and welcoming our students on the first day of school and open house. Their work does matter. A special welcome to the 3 new teachers, Ms. Uckstead, Ms. Wicklund, and Mr. Phelps, that were hired this year to teach. On attendance, I went back and used MDE's average daily attendance, and if I remember talking to you guys about this in the past, they're 2 years behind us, so and it's a starting place. Lynn and I have talked about how this will work moving forward for us, trying to figure out what goes in here. But in the year 2024, the average daily attendance at the LC was 19%. And an hour class means missed for the day. A number of students that are below, last year were 52 students. And the average attendance as of the first 14 days so far at the LC is 79.92%. So yes, absolutely. For this year, we have 28 students who have 95% or better, and we have 10 students at the LC who are at 100%, which is pretty cool. The action steps we're working on is they're going to begin on September 24th. Students will do a weekly attendance and grade checks and report to themselves and have and set goals on making things either get better or what's going well. Also, on September 28th, staff will begin to discuss the compass. Lakes Country will have us out there for IQ and for ALC because we're below in some assessments and things like that. So we'll go out and spend the day, and they'll put some data and attendance and coursework and behavior together and put a plan that is more detailed than what they have right now. They also will, they're working closely with Lynn Johnson on making sure documents go out, parents are being called and communicated with on their attendance. They have family meetings with Carrie in August on students who struggled to be in the building last year. So they got off to a good start, welcoming them then, telling them they wanted them to be present and in the building. So they went that direction. We also have an AmeriCorps person this year. Again, last year we got it about halfway through the school year, and they have designated about 30 kids right now that is the focus for this person, DJ, to work on relationships, getting kids to school, and communicating with the families on where is Mark, how do we get Mark to the building, and things like that. He is amazing. It's a really great thing that they have that down at the middle school, or ALC. He has done some really good things with our kids and has built some relationship capacity with them. The challenges, our students have health concerns, mental health, and we have a lot of trauma at the ALC, which when you get in that piece makes it hard for them to be present in the building. Home responsibilities, many of our kids at the ALC are working full-time or close to full-time, and many of them pay bills at home and are expected to do so. So staying up late and coming to school is difficult for them. Student behaviors, we have lifelong truancy, things that have happened prior to them coming to the LC. It's usually one of the reasons they end up down at the LC. They don't fit in a different size building, and they feel more comfortable in a small setting. And school refusal. So sometimes we have kids that won't come to the high school, and they go down to the LC, they feel more comfortable, but they're still working through that not wanting to be in school and getting over that hump with that piece. Next steps will be compass meetings with Lakes Country. They'll put a plan in place, working directly with families, individual student accountability, and then letters of support that Lynn sends out with Carrie and my signatures on them for students who are concerned with attendance. Any questions about ALC attendance at this time? All right. Marketing, some of the things that we are working on. We have a survey, that's not a survey, it's a Google form that we're going to put out to students and parents. We started last year. We're going to gather some more data from that to find out what's going well, what's not going well at the ALC, or suggestions they may have to make us better, hearing from our clientele. One of the things we have to remember is the ALC is a school of choice. Students do not have to go there if they do not want to, and if they're referred to go there, the student and parent have a right to say no. So a student choosing to go there is choosing that as a school of choice. We do have kids from Battle Lake, Fergus Falls, and Underwood right now. So we have about 75 kids at the end of last week. About 3 have moved down from the high school at this current time. So we have about 78 to 80 kids down there right now. So the numbers are growing. Carrie is looking to try to stay around 95 if possible. If there's a senior close to not meeting graduation requirements, would be a movement to go over 95. The LC newsletter, Carrie will be putting out to parents and families, and invitations that are personal from the teachers and Carrie herself to come in for conferences. They have a difficulty reaching parents by phone, text, or email, so sometimes they may need to go knock on the door. And credit recovery is starting in October, and it's available to high school and surrounding schools that are interested. We are doing it at the LC like we did last year. It worked quite well for us, so we're hoping that students attend again like they did in the past. Highlights, the new ALC advisory board has 10 students. They're committed to school in spirit and the student voice and decision making. So a lot of what they do is they have a lot of conversations about what's going on, and they help make plans on how to make the LC a better place. And the LC has a tradition of the float on homecoming and opportunity to get them involved in what we do in that capacity. And the ALC is reading cue cards in Thor, ready for Silence of the Storm. So there's doing some cool things in their advisory. They have some pumpkin decorating coming up in October, the high ropes course in October at I Point, pie making in November, which is always a classic, and bowling in December. IQ. Ryan would like to thank Chelsea and McGinnis. She's been awesome as the registrar for the first 3 weeks of school. I visited with him last week. He goes, I don't know where we would be without her getting kids registered and getting them into school at the IQ Academy. She has done an amazing job doing her coordinator position and as well as her regular register duties. All the IQ staff, everything is new this year: student management, course management, and online meeting platform. It's a lot to ask of a staff member, changing everything at once. Thank you for the time and effort that the staff has put in and been trained and going through the process and making great decisions for our students. Attendance at the IQ Academy is a little harder to track. Lynn and I are going to have a conversation on what that looks like. Last year, I talked to you about 500 kids came in and left IQ Academy. So attendance is a difficult piece. So Lynn and I and Ryan will have a conversation on how we can track that and get some reasonable data that we can manage. But the IQ does have some things going on. Michael Bear and Kaylee Guybe, they work to put new onboarding in process. So they onboard students and they do it on a weekly basis. New students are onboarding in process for 3 weeks, so they're monitoring them. So they make sure that they're following through on the expectations they have and demonstrate the ability to take the necessary steps to be successful on an online program. With our new course management system, we are utilizing requirements students to have to go through the content before they gain access to assessments, quizzes, or tests. They also have a calendar feature in Canvas that allows students to see the work that is required and due. They have a universal design and universal naming of the calendar items to make navigation and finding the work easier for students. Thank you to Jen Roos and Allison Wyatt. They put a lot of effort into making that happen for IQ Academy. Thank you. I know that was a really big deal. I know everybody wasn't always on board on that piece, but it makes life easier for kids. And if they know what they're looking for and what it's going to be named, they can find it right away. On marketing, Ryan and I did put out some Google Forms last year to staff, students, and parents. We have that information, and we'll go through that. Staff has looked at it and seen it. We'll go in more in depth on that as we get through the school year and make a brochure for IQ Academy that we can use on social media. We are pumping the brakes on that just a little bit. As I said, they have 3 technology platforms they're implementing right now. We're not going to ask them to focus on any of that until we get to that piece where they can take a deep breath. That might be later after winter break. Teachers need time to settle in. And the challenge and barriers. So one of the things that we're seeing a lot of right now is there are a lot of schools starting online school. And it's not the traditional like IQ does with instructions and teachers performing classroom videos and types of things like that. A lot of schools are starting it and using Edmentum. It's computer-based. It's not a staff member being instructed. It's a lot of ways where other schools are trying to keep students on their campus or enrolled in their school districts. So kudos to the IQ Academy for continually asking our students to have rigorous content and curriculum. And Ryan is working on planning our fall social gathering at the Como Zoo in October and picture retakes on November 6th. So they're busy at the IQ Academy. Questions about IQ? How's it going on the 3 platforms? You guys doing better? High school. Some recognitions and shout outs. Thank you to our high school staff for implementing our instructional frameworks and our classroom standards. When you walk into a classroom, the expectation is that you have your central question or I can statement on the board. What's the plan for the day and what work is going to be turned in and where does it have to go? They have that in multiple places. Many of them have it on their presentation so the student knows what's happening. Heard from a lot of staff that as they're greeting kids at the door, they already know what they're supposed to be working on. So when they come in, they're ready to go. And that's nice. The instructional frameworks are things we worked on at the end of last year, and we're collecting data as we go through the school year on how they're effective. I'd like to put a big shout out to Brenda and Sarah. They're helping with our flex scheduling. We're using our scheduler for otter time, and so we're training kids how to assign themselves on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And those who don't, Sarah and Brenda are placing in their otter time teacher. Becca Kruger started something new. We have a new KSS art gallery. So it's not just students, it can be staff members, and she might have some community art in there. So it's gonna be pretty cool when you walk by those spaces. Our paras have been awesome this year. They've been in classrooms supporting students. We've had a great year with our special ed kids and our paras in support of what they do in the classroom with our students. And we are also up 20 students from what we projected from last year, so that's nice to see. We have, give or take, 750 kids right now at the high school. Our attendance, one of the things I looked at, I know I talked about it a couple years ago, we were at 59% 2 years ago on average daily attendance from MDE. In 2024, we're at 74.6%, so we made a huge jump there. I'm hoping those numbers continue to grow next year, cross my fingers. The number of students Lynn listed as being below the data that we collect, 402 kids, so it's going to be interesting what the data from the state says versus what we're collecting and what that looks like. Be a good discussion to have. So basically, from 2024, about 25% of our kids were not in school on an average day. So in our first 14 days of school, we have 95.34% of our kids attending school, so that's pretty cool. I hope it stays like that. It's beginning of the school year is usually a lot of excitement. Our strategies, we're student focused. Our 9th grade mentors, our 9th grade, our 10th and 11th and 12th graders, we have about 40 of them who met the first day with our 9th graders for about 4 hours, got them in, did some activities with me and the 9th graders. And then they also, the big one is lunch is always a big deal. If 9th graders seem to get lost, they split up and went into first and second lunchways with the kids and got them into where they needed to go. A lot of kids took deep breaths on the first day of school. It was nice to see. I have sophomore classes in Otter Time that are disappointed. They thought their mentors were going to be with them for 4 years, and they only got them for a year. So that was nice to hear. Some of the action steps, our instructional framework, one of them is social, emotional, safe, and supported learning environment. So we focus on that. I have it linked in my document. And one of the other ones is high expectations. What do we expect in our classrooms from our students and our staff? Otter Time's another place. We want to build strong relationships. And we're working with Lakes Country on building parent and community partnerships. So we're trying to get out and have opportunities to listen to our parents and our community on things that we could be better at as far as getting kids in the building. Barriers, some of the things for attendance. By the time they get to the high school, usually attendance is a habit. It's not something that they have currently developed. There are students who all of a sudden start missing school at the high school, but usually most of the attendance issues we have are things that happened before they came to us. And the other big one is family beliefs on school attendance. They don't have the same beliefs that we expect 95%, so that's a struggle sometimes. We'll stay focused on our instructional frameworks. We'll work with Lynn and continue to be student focused on our attendance piece. Questions about that?
I got a question about
Yes.
Otter Time.
Yes.
When this was originally put in place,
Yep.
which was your idea, by the
Yep.
way,
It was.
which the students were supposed to be going with the same Otter Time instructor through high school.
Yep.
And you said that they schedule different times. Can you explain how that's
Yep.
evolved a little bit?
So we used to, last year, 2 years ago, we used what we're doing now, and then we stepped out of it and used passes last year. What happened is Brenda ended up having to call a lot of kids at the office and ask where they were at, because they get a pass to the teacher and then go to the teacher and then they go see another teacher. So we didn't have accurate attendance. So the flex scheduler allows the student to choose their Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday Otter placement for supports that they need.
Okay.
And they go in and do that on Friday, and I think we're going to keep it open on Monday so they can readjust after they've communicated again the following week with the students.
Okay.
Our marketing. So some of the things we have no control over is the kindergarten enrollment. One of the things that I did look at, I asked Leslie Schaefer to send me some of the information on students that don't attend the high school. We currently have 57 students at the high school who are homeschooled. 158 students are enrolled in other school districts in the area. And we have 8 to 10 students who are on placement for multiple things through the court system or mental health. The high school has put together a well-planned, the high school, one of the things we're going to do as action step is we're going to start taking photos and dumping them into a Google folder for us. And each department will have specific videos and opportunities to put links in that they offer in their departments. And we'll put that brochure together and we'll get that out at the end of the school year. We had one 3 years ago. We're going to update that and go deeper into what we have. One of the things that we know is when families come, we want to be able to hand them a document that shows all the things that we do at Fergus Falls High School. And then we'll also have one that can go on social media and be on our website. It's nice to see. It'll be authorized and it'll offer the opportunity to see the things that we offer that surrounding schools do not. We'll also have we have Otter weekly updates. So every week I send out a presentation and video that goes along with it. So the parents in the community, our parents get to see that and they can watch it. I do the video because there's things in there I want to explain to them so it's clear of the expectation of the things that are going on. And this year I've also started adding it and sending it out to the students. I've been getting a lot of emails of things they want me to keep adding to it, so it must be pretty good for them. One of the challenges we have, we need to know why students or parents are choosing not to come to Fergus Falls High School. So having those community parent meetings and have those conversations with support from Lakes Country, how we can go about doing that. And we need to sit down and hear what we're missing and why they're not attending our high school. Our next steps are continue to work on a year-long plan. I have Lakes Country coming in next week to go through some of those ideas and plans with myself, and then I'll bring it to our SAT team. And we just want to look at how school may have to be a little different. What are the things kids are looking at? What needs to go? What needs to stay? Are there programs that we have that the kids aren't interested in anymore? Are there things happening that we're not aware of? Highlights and accomplishments. We had a great homecoming week, even though we were crossing our fingers, hoping it wasn't going to rain on Friday. We flipped a few activities. A real cool opportunity. Mr. Drake started Key Club with our students at the high school last year. We have 2 amazing seniors who continued the work this year. One of them came and sent an email, then came in and sat with me, and we took an opportunity to have them, our first week of school, we had suicide awareness and depression things, and they did all the work. They sent it all out, they brought it to us, and we shared it for our students during Otter time, and the kids were really active in that piece. So one of the things we'll grow from there is they were trying to do it all by themselves, and now I just reminded them, go find 9th and 10th and 11th graders who can be part of the program and who are going to be continued leaders that will continue our suicide awareness that first week of school. Mentor spent the first 4 hours on the first day of school with us. Go ahead, sorry.
No, that's good. Sorry.
Okay. And 11 students spent 2 hours at Park Garden Senior Living participating in a real-life activity. During homecoming, we usually send our students and royalty out to the community. Parks Garden called and said, hey, we need 12 kids. And Shane goes, I don't have the time right now. I'm going to kind of hand it over to Mr. Anderson. So I connected with Lisa. We took 11 kids out there, and they compete in a world championship contest where they keep their bodies fit. And this one was their hands, and they have to do a pump. And so we had 11 kids out there, and we went for 45 minutes early so they could learn how to do this. I don't know who was happier, the high school students or the senior living people at Parks Garden. The laughter and the fun and the smiles were just absolutely amazing. I have a number of kids who want to go back and get out there and participate with them more and more and give community service to our community. So I was really proud of our kids. And I need to share some of those pictures, work on that. Upcoming events, they mentioned Indigenous People Day on October 13th. Our career fair is October 15th. A former alumni is going to speak to all the seniors at our high school about entrepreneurship and his creation station in town. And he's also going to speak to our local community, our local schools that come that day also. And our 10th graders are taking the PSAT test here in October, so we're looking forward to that opportunity. Any questions?
I just got one more.
Yes.
You mentioned in the marketing segment to look at what students that are in our district but are attending other districts outside of ours. I think the other thing we should do is look at students that have come to our district as success stories and ask them, why did you come here? Because there's a multitude of reasons why they're coming here. we have a great hockey program, for instance. Maybe they come here to play hockey,
Yep.
or maybe they like the music program here, and kind of have good success stories. And then the other thing I wanted to just mention is thank you and the other principals for your focus on attendance. I know it's one of our main goals here. We firmly believe as a board that if kids aren't here, they're not learning. That's research supports that, and we'll continue to drive as hard as we can to improve our attendance, because it's not just something in Fergus. It's across the country, and it's something that the legislature has addressed, and I think they have 12 schools in a pilot program. And so if we can learn from what those schools are doing this year, I think Moorhead is one of them, Rochester is another one. And if we can learn from them, that would be great too. But thank you to all the principals for your focus on attendance, and keep doing what you're doing.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Following our principal reports, we'll hear from Superintendent Jeff Drake. Good evening.
Good evening. So I want to take a moment and just thank the staff for a great start to the school year again, and especially with homecoming. Homecoming, when it comes early in the year, has both its blessings and its challenges. And on the challenge part, building staff are still trying to get kids into the routines, get them settled into a learning mode, and then homecoming comes, and then it's just an tip the apple cart upside down. So all that early work, getting those routines and stuff set up, has a little bit of a spin during homecoming. On the positive side, and this comes from the old principal in me, you get it out of the way early in the school year. So that was always a relief, at least to me, but it was fun to see the school pride on display. We had some weather to dodge, and by and large, we were able to get all the events in for the students that we had planned with minimal disruption due to weather. And so again, thanks to all the staff for their flexibility and making it a special week for our students. Some congratulatory notes. I'm always really proud to show off the academic accomplishments of our students. And so a huge shout out goes to Eric Swanson, who is a commended student from the 2026 National Merit Scholarship Program. There are hundreds of thousands of kids that take this exam every year as juniors, and to be commended means that his score was truly exceptional. So kudos to him and congratulations. Evie Millard was also recognized as a Rural Scholar Award, and there are some academic expectations there, and congratulations to Evie for her recognition. This goes back to late last spring, but congratulations to Britta Mathieson for her design winning the annual Minnesota Bike to School Day contest. And her poster, which you may not be able to make out the words there on the photo, but it reads "Slow down in school zones." And wonderful message. And her poster design is on display at Cleveland, Adams, and McKinley, reminding drivers to slow down and be safe in the school areas. We have some athletic accomplishments. You're going to notice the last name Lil mentioned several times here, but these are all related to Goddard girls tennis. Congratulations to both Carson and Dylan Lil for attaining their 50 career victories to date, to Hattie Fullhart for notching her 75th career victory, and to Ashton Lil for 100 victories so far in her tennis career. So congratulations to all those girls, and good luck over the remainder of the season. I mentioned homecoming week earlier, but congratulations to homecoming king and queen Chuck Marquette and Evie Millard. Really nice coronation program Monday evening. A lot of nice talent on display as well for the talent portion of the ceremony. Special thanks to Shane Tilke for organizing that event, and he takes the lead on much of the homecoming week festivities, so appreciate all his time and hard work. Last Saturday, there was a Hall of Fame induction that is kind of a coordinated effort between the 544 Foundation and then our own activities department. But congratulations to the Hall of Fame inductees, Barb Caspers and Eric Newell and Norm Newell and Mark Soley. It's nice to see our alumni recognized, and this can be very inspirational to our current students as they look at the great things that our graduates are accomplishing. This is something that's maybe a little bit off the radar for my normal content, but Jeff Granrud, who is a math teacher for Howard Lake Waverly Winstead, was recently named as the 2025 National Rural Teacher of the Year, which is really, really cool. But what makes it even more remarkable is that this is the third year in a row that the National Rural Teacher of the Year has come from the state of Minnesota. And so it's just a testimony or a testament to the high quality of instruction that we have in rural education settings, to the dedication of our staff, and to the impactful, lifelong impactful impact that these teachers make on the lives of our students. So congratulations to Jeff, and congratulations to the state of Minnesota. A couple of years ago, we rolled up our sleeves and really took an earnest look at our multi-tiered systems of support. So when I'm talking about MTSS, I'm referring primarily to our Title I program, and then our ADSIS program, which you might also hear referred to as RTI, which is Response to Intervention. And so we did a lot of work distinguishing what qualified a student that was struggling in reading or math for RTI support or Title I support. And then we made a very conscientious decision to take our resources, some of our resources that were in some of the upper grades, and move them down to the earliest grades for earlier intervention. And so the hypothesis here, or the hope behind that move, was that front-loading early intervention, targeted intervention, would end up seeing or resulting in a decrease in the number of students that needed reading and math support as they got older. And so here we have 3 years of data. The 2023-24 year was the baseline or benchmark where we started from before the new MTSS model. And then you see 2 years of data now that are showing students that are needing either 2A, which we would have referred to as RTI support in the earlier grades, or categorized as 2B, which would have been Title I support in the earlier grades. And you can see in almost every instance, the number of students needing additional support in reading and math have decreased fairly substantially. So I just want to thank all of our interventionists and the building principals for their work, and the Tier 1 teachers for their work in coming up with a new model, supporting a new model, and we're really, really pleased with the results. I want to talk just a little bit, I guess mainly to the public, about the book, The Anxious Generation. Many of our staff have read this book, and it really has caused a lot of internal conversations about how do we create a healthy environment for students in the digital age. And so there were a couple of main suggestions coming out of that. One is, and people might not like this stuff, but I'm going to share it with you anyway. The recommendations coming out of that book was no smartphones before high school, no social media before the age of 16, advocating for phone-free schools, and some schools in the state have moved in that direction already. Those are conversations we've had, at least at the beginning stages. And then more independence and free play with the younger children, instead of a large portion of it being structured play overseen by adults. There are also guidelines. This didn't come from the book, but I think it would be supported by the book. Screen time recommendations by age. So 0 to 18 months is none. Toddlers 18 to 24 months is less than an hour a day. Children 2 to 5 years is 0 to 3. And then as you get to the older kids, 6 to 17 years, it's 2 hours. And then with teens and adults, 2 to 4 hours. So some guidance for our parents out there on how much screen time our students should be exposed to. A couple updates on the building and ground side. If you haven't noticed it yet, we do have a cell tower that's being installed out by the maintenance shed, and they're making good progress on that. It's much needed. It is basically a dead zone by the outer stadium, et cetera. So we're hoping not only has this project will generate some additional operating revenue for us, but it should increase cell service in the area as well. We have bid opening coming up on Thursday, October 2nd at 2 o'clock that afternoon on the pool project. I was unable to make the pre-bid meeting, but I understand there were about 6 contractors that were present for that, so that's good that there's a lot of interest. The work would be set to commence on April 1st of 2026 with a completion date that should be very, very feasible of June 30th, 2026. And then right now we have working with Tremco and then McDougall, who is their installer. They are working with the state of Minnesota to get the appropriate permitting done, but we expect Cleveland to have a new roof by the end of this fall, and then Adams will have a new roof installed this coming spring. Both much needed. And with that, I will turn it over to any questions you might have.
Anyone on the board have questions for the superintendent? It
Thank you.
doesn't appear so. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the reports. We have next for the board to consider the general consent items. This includes our minutes from the September 8th regular school board meeting, and then bills from September 9th through the 22nd. So could you help us with that, Jenny?
I sure can. Bills for September 9th through September 2nd. Out of our general fund, total bills of $530,432.40. Out of food service, we had $44,022.57. Our community service fund, we had $3,022.30. Nothing out of construction, nothing out of debt service, nothing out of the trust, and then finally $8,607.28 out of the student activities fund for a total invoices paid out of $586,084.55.
All right, thank you. We have quite a few personnel items, and I'll apologize in advance because it looks like some rather complicated names. Certified staff hires Barb Hoffman, English second language teacher. We adjusted her contract. Support staff hires include Hannah Knighton, special ed para, Nadia Thamart, dishwasher, Amanda Kreiser Cole, special ed para, Jaden Duran, special ed para, Heidi Bohannon, a long-term secretary sub, Maggie Beeving, part-time special ed para, Teresa Leno, special ed para, Deborah Lee, accompanist at the high school, middle school, or at the middle school, sorry. Rachel Ehlers, a dishwasher at Kennedy. We had support staff resignations from Elise Hansen as a dishwasher, Jennifer Getty as a special ed para, Josie Leach as a dishwasher, and David Rankin as the district chef. We have a support staff retirement with a resolution a little bit later on Mark Siebernaller's been a para educator, and he is going to end his term with us on October 3rd. Internally, Dylan Pollock transferred from part-time to full-time custodian, and Joe Burley transferred from full-time custodian to part-time custodian. We have a coach hire for approval, Eric Vottensdahl, girls head coach for hockey. So those are our personnel items. Having heard all that, is there a motion to approve the general consent items?
So moved, but it's Isaac Vattenfall, not Eric.
Oh, yeah.
I think you said Eric.
Yeah.
But it is Isaac.
Okay,
And I'll
thank
make
you.
a motion that we approve.
All
I'll
right.
second.
All right, any discussion on the general consent items? All in favor of approving, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. That is approved, and we'll move on to new business, where we have received information for the 25-26 school year fundraiser requests. Is there a motion to approve the requests that have been submitted?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on the information that we received or the requests? All in favor of approving the 25-26 fundraiser request, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, thank you. We have a resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from construction fund to general fund. I'll preface this with, we've discussed this before and made preliminary resolution, and now this is follow-up. Whereas the School Board of Independent School District Number 544 adopted a resolution on June 12, 2023, which included a declaration of official intent pursuant to the Treasury Regulation 1150-2 to reimburse certain expenditures from the proceeds of tax-exempt bonds to be issued for the Lincoln Phase 2 construction project. And whereas prior to the issuance of said bonds, the district incurred eligible expenditures related to the Lincoln Phase 2 construction project that were temporarily financed through the general fund. And whereas the district has since received bond proceeds and deposited them into the construction fund for the purpose of financing the Lincoln Phase 2 construction project, and whereas the district desires to reimburse the general fund for eligible expenditures previously paid as authorized in the June 12, 2023 resolution, now therefore be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 544 as follows. The district is hereby authorized and directed to transfer the amount of approximately $434,025 from the construction fund to the general fund as reimbursement for eligible project expenditures previously incurred and paid for from the general fund in connection with Lincoln Phase 2 construction project. Will someone offer the resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer the resolution and move for its adoption.
And a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion on it?
I think just one point of clarity, it does say approximately $548,000. That number could change slightly because the auditors are still going through what auditors do. But if it's anything significant, it'll come back to the board for approval.
Any other comments or questions? Clerk, will you please take roll?
Yes. Stephen Biggessa. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah, you can vote for me.
You or me.
Yeah, you can.
I think my parents named me Kelly.
Yeah.
Kelly Graff, yes.
Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. Tricked you. The next item for our agenda is a resolution for the proposed levy for taxes payable in 2026. This would be set at the maximum amount. The narrative is as follows. Be it resolved by the School Board of Independent School District Number 544, State of Minnesota, as follows. The board shall certify its proposed property tax levy information to the county auditor on or before September 30th of each year, unless an extension is granted by the home county auditor. Pursuant to Minnesota Statute 275.065, the school board is authorized to certify the maximum levy limitation as certified by the Commissioner of Education for property taxes payable in 2026. The public information meeting, which is called the Truth in Taxation Hearing regarding proposed property taxes and the budget, is scheduled for 6 p.m. on Monday, December 8th, 2025, in the Community Ed Room at Roosevelt Education Center. This, and then it says in parentheses, during the school board meeting. So that's the narrative of the resolution. For information, then the, that coincides with our first monthly meeting in December. Would someone offer this resolution and move for its adoption?
I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption.
And is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll turn to you, Clerk.
Okay, I'll start with you, Kirby. Kirby Anderson.
Yes.
Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. The next resolution is on the retirement of Mark Siebenaller. I prefer to put an R in there, which is incorrect, so I apologize. Whereas Mark Siebenaller began his employment with Fergus Falls Public Schools in January 2018, and whereas Mark has been a valued employee with Fergus Falls Public Schools for the past 7 years, and whereas Mark has been a dedicated para-educator for the district, and now therefore be it resolved by the Fergus Falls School Board to thank Mark for his 7 years of service to Fergus Falls Public Schools. I'll offer that resolution and move for its adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Is there any discussion on that resolution? Once again, to you, my clerk.
Okay. Kirby Anderson. Yes. Kelly Graff.
Yes.
Jenny Christensen.
Yes.
Missy Hermes, yes. Melanie Cole.
Yes.
Stephen Biggessa.
Yes.
The resolution is adopted.
All right, thank you. Prior to tonight's meeting, we received information on this, and so I will look for a revised school athletic training and sports medicine service agreement between Fergus Falls Independent School District and Lake Region Healthcare. Looking for a motion to endorse that. Somebody offer that motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving that revision, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, that is approved. This is the conclusion of our regular meeting. We will have a work session with a review of the 25-26 Fergus Falls Public School Student Handbook. The board will take a look at that. And we will be back Monday, October 13th at 5:15 p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
And a second? Any discussion on adjournment? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, say nay. All right, thank you. We are adjourned.